Welcome everyone to the Action for Sustainability in Education Community of Practice. We're very lucky today to be joined by Dr. Ayça Alan, who's an independent researcher. She's going to be sharing her latest research on critical literacy for sustainable consumption in early childhood teacher education. So I'm going to hand it straight over to you, Ayça.
Yeah, thank you. Greetings from Turkey, actually. And I'm really happy to be part of this platform. So I would like to thank you again for this great opportunity. Today I'm gonna talk about my latest study, actually, the pre-service teachers. But before starting this, I would like to just introduce myself a bit. Well, I'm a researcher, educator, and a lifelong learner in early childhood education, and my academic interest includes education for sustainability, children's literature, critical literacy, and educational drama. Now I'm continuing with this study. First, I would like to share what has driven me to conduct this study. Actually, my observation as an educator while I was studying as a teaching assistant in practice teaching courses, I observed that many of my students were failed to integrate sustainability in their activity plans. Also, my experience as a researcher just supported this observation. My colleague and I just conducted a research with pre-service teachers in order to see how they are integrate sustainability in their activity plans, and we just find that, well, they were integrated it with really low levels. Also, related literature points a need for the study in pre-service teacher education, but there is available limited guidance for teacher educators. So there were all of these were my motivations to conduct this study. So I asked myself, what type of education can empower all students at each level to become active agents of positive societal change? I mean, for sustainability, for a sustainable world, promoting equity, respect, and diversity, and caring for the all planets, all beings, humans and non-humans. So my answer was an education based on critical literacy. So I kind of approached sustainability from the perspective of social justice and fairness. That's I just gained my inspiration from Freire. I kind of borrow her philosophy of pedagogy of hope for building this study. So in this study, I tried to explore early childhood education teacher candidates' experience of a professional development train, which was designed to inform them about sustainable consumption via critical literacy during their practice teaching. Well, it was a single case study, and it was conducted in a public university, and this university has a green campus, so it has offered facilities for sorting out waste, and also in its mission, it states the protecting the environment and so I will just talk about again. So in this university, we see in this university, we see a respect for the environment, social diversity, and equity reflected in their missionary. My participants were included 6 senior students of early childhood education undergraduate program. They were also enrolled in the practice teaching course. And after I recruited them, I first conducted a pre-interview in order to understand their previous background regarding sustainability and sustainable consumption, and their daily practice and teaching practice about these issues, these concerns. And based on this data, I built my professional development. And during this professional development, I analyzed their activity plans, and they wrote some reflective journals that just address this experience. I took field notes, and after this professional development, I conducted a post-interview in order to see the change between their understanding and practice regarding sustainable consumption within their role as citizens and as educators, because, well, teacher educators has 2 roles, considering they are all citizens, but also they are teachers, pre-service teachers. Today I would like to just more focus on my professional development training. As I said before, I just borrowed from Freire. So my professional development training was based on critical literacy. I used sustainable consumption professional. I just think about sustainable consumption in a sustainability-oriented way, and build this professional development in terms of addressing their citizen role and educator role. So borrowing from Freire, I just aim to create a learning community for pre-service teachers in order to empower them about sustainable consumption in their understanding and practice. I just adopt a holistic view regarding sustainability, and I just reflected this perspective in my teaching content, the methods I use and the materials I used. Here you can see the professional development trainings. It includes both the practical training and theoretical training. Basically, we just talk about these 5 themes during the theoretical training. As I said before, it was like problem-posing pedagogy of Paulo Freire. We started with a sharing cycle. We just talk about our feelings, our like festives, like events from the daily life, etc. in each this meeting. And then we just move to this theme through a generative media. For instance, it will be a picture books, it will be a presentation notes, it would be a like something like a video about these issues. And I used a dialogic approach here. So when I just talk about these, when I just lead these meetings, I was in a role of researcher, both an educator and a learner, and my learners, my participants, adopt the role of learner and educator. It was a very, I mean, in this sense, it's a participant learning environment. They were active in all of these meetings, and I think it supported their voice throughout the whole study. And together we critically question those media I just presented them in terms of like inclusiveness, rationality, how they just like they replace information as something to be challenged in terms of its like rationality, inclusive diversity, like it's whether it's covers all of the people living in the world, etc. So I can say that we just challenge these sources in terms of like intergenerational justice between like people, and also we just challenge in terms of like human nature relations and etc. Here you can see some pictures from my training. Actually, we just used a hybrid approach. We sometimes used in online meetings. We just sometimes use face-to-face meetings. And here you can see on the left a field trip. And I would like to share you something right here. Why I used to be here? Well, because we just talk about and inspired from Freire, we were just fascinated with the naming and renaming the word. So my participants come up with this idea: why we give a name to our learning community. So they come up with the name of beehives, actually. Yeah, referring to bees, like importance to our planet and the hive shape, like this unique unique shape of the hives, and the organization goes on the hives. So they were really, I think they were really fascinated with this idea, and beehives were the name for our group. Also, you can see here is a tour meeting where we just, I think actually this is the campus you see here where the study took place. So after all of these meetings, what happened? What were the outcomes? So I observed an enhanced understanding and knowledge in their like citizen and educator roles, both roles. So this enhanced knowledge and skills reflected in their learning processes and practices while they were like working with young children. Also, I observed increased self-efficacy in teaching in terms of like addressing sustainability and sustainable consumption in their teaching. They also just demonstrated agency in their daily lives and in their education professional lives. Also, they reported improved daily practice regarding sustainable consumption. Here are some notes from their interviews. You can see it's about like how one of my participants sees sustainable consumption. It reflects her ecocentric approach and her responsibility as a person here, as a people here. Here is another one, reflecting her critical reflection. And it was like this note was like a transformation in daily practice, you see. And this note was like the increase in the self-efficacy. And this was like overcoming a misconception about sustainability in early childhood education, particularly. And lastly, this one reflects a holistic, whole system approach, whole school approach regarding early childhood education. And the sense of belonging, and I think the solidarity. Well, yeah, and I mean, the outcomes of this, having this learning community. Also, I would like to share you an activity plan. One of the actually this is the original way they wrote, because the university was English medium, so they prepared their documents in English, and it's a really interesting example actually, because when we talk about sustainable consumption, people often just think about examples like sorting out waste or like composting activities.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Here you can see another approach, how these participants integrated movement into sustainability. I think you will just you can just read it afterwards. Here you can see all of these learning processes. So lastly, what I gained from this experience as an educator and also as a citizen.
Interesting.
Firstly, I observed new perspectives and reconsidered sustainability and sustainable consumption from the learner's point of view. Thanks to these perspective that I gained from critical pedagogy, because I became an educator and learner at the same time, thanks to this participative learning environment. I just get this experience. And also doing this increased my self-efficacy as a critical educator, because I experienced really like, wow, there were like 6 people with diverse backgrounds about sustainability. And I just, well, before that, I think I was just a teaching assistant. It is the first experience for me where I experienced the autonomy of an educator. And with this autonomy, I use it to become a critical educator, and I really fascinated with this experience and the outcomes of it. Also, during this, thanks to this approach, I learned about new sustainable consumption practices. I don't know if you all just know about this. Like, I learned a fair trade chocolate company from one of my participants. And I just learned reusing coffee paste for dishwashing and making soap from waste olive oil. And actually, I just adopted these daily practices and use it my daily life, use it as a daily life habit in my personal life as well. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity as an educator and a citizen. Here you can find some useful references, which I also use in this presentation. Thank you for your kind interest. Here you can find my email address, and you can have more detailed information from my doctoral dissertation. You can see here.
Perfect. Thank you very much,
Thank you
Dr.
very much.
Ayça. June, do you have any questions?
Can I ask you about the bit about translating the practice? So there's quite a lot about their values and their behaviors and their learning and their conversations. How did they feel able to, having got to that point, which is almost the first step of sustainability informed, how do they then translate it into practice? And
in their daily life, you mean?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
For instance, like, I think it was about being in a learning community, because it just like increased the sense of belonging and the sense of solidarity. Some just started just sorting out waste before they weren't doing that. Some were just like started to informing others, like neighbors, like family members. I think communicating sustainable consumption in daily life is, I think it's harder than to communicating sustainable consumption as an educator.
It's really interesting.
So also, well, some of my participants said, before I was thinking like, what one people do with her like practice? What does it matter? I'm doing it or not. Now I'm just thinking really entirely different, she said. Like a lot of things like make happen with only one person.
Yeah.
And then a lot of change will happen in the planet. Actually, there were just really, really great reflections of their daily practices. You can also just read in my like doctoral dissertation.
Okay.
Also, well, in terms of teaching practice, they were also just affecting their mentor teachers, demonstrating like there's way to really concretely doing this and easier to doing this in our classrooms with the materials we used, like routinely we used. So yeah, like about half of them reported affecting their mentor teachers, and their mentor teachers begin to like doing some activities regarding sustainability or sustainable consumptions in their practicum placements, etc.
Thank you. It's really helpful, and it kind of fits in with the work I've done on ACT, we call it, where it's about anchoring change and transforming practice. By using exactly what you said, they're much more knowledgeable, so they're able to have better conversations, and then they're supported in their community of practice. It's really very interesting. There's a very interesting crossover in your work and other work as well, which is, I think, weaves sustainability into a much more holistic kind of element. But thank you.
Also, yeah, I would like to share another point from my study. Unfortunately, there were like really low levels of public sector behaviors regarding sustainable consumption. Like civic participation were really low compared to private sphere practices.
Oh, interesting. But by civic, you mean like local authority equivalents of like settings in schools? Is that what you mean? Or
yeah, in terms of teaching, yes.
Yeah.
And in terms of daily life, like you can just think about like being a member in an environmental, like non-governmental organization,
Okay.
or just like participating in a petition, protests,
All right.
etc. like this.
So interesting. We have quite a lot of work to do we not?
Yeah,
There's much
but it's
to
a
do.
good beginning. Yeah.
There's much to do, is there not? Nick, do you want to ask anything or explore anything a little bit more depth? I mean, I want to go in and read your piece actually now.
I have made a note of that, to read the dissertation. I just found
Yeah.
it interesting that you're encouraging sustainability and activity plans, because it is quite easy to become tokenistic quite quickly with sustainability. Like you said, just a composter and you're planting flowers, whereas sustainability is so much more of that. So I'm very interested to read your dissertation. Quickly as well, did you find being on a green campus, was that easier to implement the environmental side of sustainability into your study as well? If you're surrounded by greenery and nature, it's usually a lot easier to implement. Where we find some of our urban settings in our nurseries, it's quite difficult to integrate that in there.
Yes, I think, yeah, it played a role in my study, but well, I mean, there is like student clubs about protecting environment in the campus. There are like facilities of sorting out waste, and they're also like time to time making, like they were like having seminars on environmental protection, etc. But the thing is here, like they see sustainability from the perspective of very, like, how to say it, environmental protection point, whereas sustainability is like a bigger umbrella covering all this politics, social and cultural things, like economic things beyond environment. So I think, the being in a green campus played a role in my study, but I just think because this professional development was critical literacy based, and because I just adapted a sustainability perspective of social justice and fairness, it's I think it played a greater role in my study.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to reading your dissertation, Ayça.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really happy to hear it.
Uh-huh.
Is there anything else, June, or we'll be calling this to an end?
What's your next step in terms of the work you've been doing, not just with this group, but just generally?
Yes. Actually, I have several in my agenda here. Since I try to gain experience in educational trauma, and I would like to build educational drama and sustainability. I would like to use these skills of me as an education drama leader in sustainability education. I just would like to focus on adult education via educational drama in terms of promoting active citizenship for sustainability.
Okay.
And also, and one other thing I would like to experience is just conducting a study with initial teacher education, but with a group of researchers. And I would like to just experience, how to say it, the whole system approach in my study, because there were no community engagement here. I only just presented an opportunity to a field trip to a local community of non-governmental organization. So I would like to just experience doing a research with the other stakeholders.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe, Nick, we can make it clear that anybody on the Action for Sustainability community might want to connect directly with Ayça to talk about some of this stuff.
Mm.
Not a problem. We can do that.
Yeah, we can, surely. Yeah.
And that brings us very nicely to the end of it. Thank you very much for that segue there, June. If anyone has any questions or queries, we will put Ayça's email address in this LinkedIn post, and we'll also be sharing the PowerPoint as well. So if you have any questions, please reach out. But we look forward to hearing from you all very shortly.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.